Hi, Victor. So, would an AI be able to create visual art or music?
Um, it would. It definitely would be able to create those things, and it has. That's the cool
Oh,
thing.
wow.
Speaking again of GANs, the generative adversarial networks, I guess I'll sidetrack a little. Easy way to think of a GANs is sort of like Catch Me If You Can, or like somebody who's faking bills. You're creating fake bills,
Right.
and somebody trying to catch them. So Leo and Tom. Leo is generating a bunch of fake bills. You have to know this movie or else these names are not going to make that much sense.
Writing the checks.
So Leonardo is faking checks, faking bills. He's just generally faking things and trying not to be caught.
Right.
That's why Catch Me If You Can. When Leo starts, he has really no notion of what a fake bill should look like other than I've seen a bill. So it's not so unlike a generator in a GAN network. So the generator here is competing against the discriminator, and in the Catch Me If You Can example, the discriminator is Tom Hanks. He's the one who's trying to figure out, is this fake, is this real? Should I chase this guy down? Do I chase him across the US and try to figure out where he is? Why is he a lawyer now? Generally, Leo will start with really crappy fakes, and they'll very easily be caught. Eventually, though, those crappy fakes, through trial and error more or less, will start to optimize and get good. Now you're in this world of Leonardo DiCaprio now knows how to make some pretty damn good fakes, right? So all of a sudden, Tom Hanks's ability to find out how those fakes, what those fakes are, his ability has to get better. So then he kind of sharpens up. He trains and does a little push-up and whatever, and then all of a sudden, he's better at discriminating. He's better at figuring out what's true and not true, what's fake and not fake. And it's this battle, like this back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which is the adversarial part of these networks. Eventually, you get to a place, you're generally optimizing for the discriminator. So you're trying to optimize for Tom Hanks here. Eventually, you get to a place where Tom Hanks is so damn good that now Tom Hanks can create things. And generally what happens is the Leo character here, the generator, is sort of seen as I'm generating training data. So the aim is to make that discriminator really good, and that's the network that you're going to want to optimize for the best. But at the same time, you're optimizing the generator network. So Leo's getting really good at creating training data for Tom. And Tom is the one who matters to us. We care more about Tom, and we want Tom to be like the best fake bill finder of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why they're adversaries all the way through. You do this with art, you do this with music, you can do this with a bunch of creative endeavors, largely by saying, well, paint. And then your generator paints, and your discriminator says, that is definitely not a whatever, a Michelangelo or a Da Vinci or like a Palladio. Eventually, that discriminator, the curator of art, no longer can tell very easily, and it's got to sharpen itself. So yes, for at least 5 years in academia and in research, there has been art that's been created, and it's been really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you are at the point where it's still more research topic than it is applications in real world, but you're at the point where you can networks on all the art of some artist, whether it's visual art or music or something like that, and then it sort of starts understanding how to really generate the kind of that artist, and then all of a sudden, eventually, you now start generating art that never existed in the world.
Mm-hmm.
That even like museum curators and Sotheby's of the world, like those art houses, the auction houses, could very well believe that that's art that specific artist made. Like it's a new Kandinsky or something that just happens to materialize that was stuck in somebody's basement, you know? And of course, if you can do that with visual art, it's not much of a stretch to think you can do that with music. All you really need to do is turn whatever your medium is that you want into bits and bytes and feed it to the machine and represent it in a way that it understands. So music fits itself really nicely. I know we've been digitizing music for a very long time, so it's not a new novel thing, but the new novel thing is you could very well generate music that sounds like the Beatles in the style of Mozart, in the style of like a children's melody of some sort, right? And then all of a sudden you have royalty-free, awesome music, which is actually a game that we flirted with for a while, was to help create royalty-free music as placeholders when you are producing new TV of some sort or a new video of some sort, because you will have to pay for the royalties for the music that you're sampling or using. But if you just want something that sounds like house trance in the background of your South by Southwest video, you don't have to go get real house trance. You can generate something that's house trance like, that's never been heard or never been seen, and it's royalty free at this point. If you wanted something that sounded like the Beatles because you have this sort of look and feel about your video, you could insert that in and you can have it generated for you. AI can generate art, can generally get it past the sniff test of many people, including auction houses, including curators, and I'm certain that some industrious person, because of NFTs being around now and this like craze and mania of people selling into NFTs, it's not a hard stretch to go, let's have AI create some art and sell them as NFTs as if like they were Mozart, or not, well, Mozart for music or Da Vinci or whoever for like actual visual art. Yeah. So yeah, it can totally create, and it can create much more than just art and music actually.